and welcome to the Comics Conspiracy episode 256 for the week of April 12th, 2016. My name is Ryan Higgins, and I really bit the inside of my mouth really hard. So, hi. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Martha! Sorry, Bryce. Was it already dead? Bryce is here.
Toby.
And Charlie.
And we have a very special guest from the great state of Indiana. Indiana, correct? Indiana. Yeah. Say hello, introduce yourself.
Hi, Craig Anderson.
Move a little closer to the mic when you talk. That's perfect. Yeah, you're good. See, I always have to tell people, just move a little closer. A little closer. Yeah, you're fine. Craig.
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
You're a member of our Facebook group?
Yes.
You're on Twitter?
Yep.
You've had many questions on the air here.
I have.
And now you're out here.
I am.
What are you doing here?
Out here for a meeting tomorrow, and just thought I'd take a chance. I realized I was like 30 minutes away from here, so I zipped over.
Nice.
So it's very exciting.
Nice. You and Bryce seem to have some bro work connection going on. We won't spoil for everyone what your jobs are, because we don't want people hunting you down in your office or anything like that. Because of your terrible opinions on Iron Man 3, but yeah, I think you guys made a little connection. So
yeah. Wow.
Bryce is a sexy man.
I listened to his eyes.
Yeah.
And
it was a
you
thing.
Like Iron Man 3?
yeah, because I have good taste.
Oh, you guys are going to have a whole fun tonight. All sorts of fun.
Actually.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are going to get along great.
It's a great movie. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
Top 5.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Ron will make all sorts of assumptions about all of his little precious DC movies, but the canonical explaining of how Trevor isn't the Mandarin is not good enough for Ryan Higgins. So
Craig, before you saw the worst Marvel movie to date, Iron Man 3, what is your comic book secret origin? You know we like to do this here. When did you start reading comics?
Oh, so I started reading comics, because I'm old, in the early 70s. I got my collection from my uncle, who bought a bunch of Marvel stuff in the early 60s and 70s. I can't remember most of it, but I know I had Spider-Man 33 in there.
Nice.
And a lot of other good stuff. So, and that's when you used to go to drugstores and they had the spinner rack.
Yep.
And you could read, so I'd go in there and read them. And started picking up, I actually got the original giant-sized Spider-Man, Superman,
yeah,
which was awesome, by the way. And
Of all time.
yeah, so I started collecting, and then in 1978, my mom sold everything in a garage sale.
Typical.
Yeah.
Ow.
So I know. I actually own that story that my mother did that to me to this day. So at any rate, so I lost a lot of good stuff. And then, gosh, it was several years later, I was in a drugstore on a spinner rack again and saw...
So how old are you at this point when everything got sold?
I was like 8.
Okay, so still pretty young, yeah.
I was still pretty young.
Okay.
And then,
That's
Even worse.
That's
Yeah.
a young age. I mean, that's traumatic.
I didn't realize
that's
it
like
was
life
traumatic.
scarring.
It became a lot... It's like everything else that
It's
your
the
parents
delayed
did.
life scarring, right?
Yeah, it's like the
you're
mid-30s life scarring.
Oh, no.
So that was not good. But then I caught back up. I grabbed off the rack X-Men during the Brood saga.
Okay.
And I grabbed that and read it, and I got completely sucked into X-Men. I went back to that drugstore every month to try and find the newest X-Men.
Nice.
Then I saw X-Men Teen Titans.
Nice.
So then I started reading all the Teen Titans. And that was the beginning. Then I think about a year later, I realized that there were actually things called comic book stores. And that's when it really got bad.
Well, if you're looking early 80s, there wasn't, the boom was about to happen.
Right.
It was starting to happen. Yeah.
Yep. It was Jeppy's Comic World, which was owned by, I think it was owned by...
Is it Steve Geppi?
Yeah.
That's the guy that owns Diamond Comics?
Yeah, it was his store.
Steve Geppi. No. Steve Geppi is the guy... Hold on. I'm going to remember who he is.
Somehow it's related to Diamond
the internet.
Comics.
Yeah, he's the guy that owns Diamond. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started buying books there, and that's when I started getting lots of back issues of all the Claremont stuff and X-Men, all the back issues of Titans, and going forward, it all just kind of accumulated from there till about 93 when I got married. And I couldn't really do that because I was a grown-up and had to stop reading. Although my wife one time did actually go to the comic book store for me, which I'm sure for her was a scarring experience the first time. But.
So stuff like through high school, maybe a little college, you're still reading? So.
I was still reading high school through college, and lots of X-Men, lots of Teen Titans. I mean, that was the best comics at that point. I just love that stuff. Quit for a while, so I avoided a whole lot of tinfoil cover comics in the early 90s.
It's like the perfect timing.
Oh, yeah.
Got to the good stuff, stop when it was bad.
That's right. So I got through all that.
Stuff. That was the foil covers.
Yeah,
in their own way.
It's all right. You missed Silver Sable #1. It's okay.
Toby, steal Charlie's mic or something like that. You can't hear you when you're not off on the mic.
I have 2 copies of Silver Sable #1. I bought it at the drugstore.
I have about 75. They're all in our quarter bins.
Yeah.
I use one of those to use as a lid for my Tupperware. I folded it over and put it in the fridge. It was very useful.
Yeah. So anyway, now I've got 55 boxes of comics. They're organized horribly, and
Nice.
I have some hypothetical time that I'm going to actually organize all my comics. And Brock was telling me all the ways to do it earlier, so we'll see.
So he might just hire me and fly me out to organize his collection for him.
So when did you start getting back in?
Probably about mid 96, 97.
Okay, so you were only out for a few years.
I was only out for a few years.
And you've been pretty consistent since?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, really
55
consistent.
long boxes? I think that's some consistency.
So what are you reading now? Or what have you been reading like this decade, this century? What have you been reading?
Oh, man. So a lot of stuff, I've loved Slott's Spider-Man.
Okay.
How
caught up are you on that?
You're getting better and better with Bryce. You guys going to go home together tonight, I think.
Okay.
Young.
Yeah. I'm caught up with it.
Okay.
How far?
Charlie, are you caught up with Slot Spider-Man? Because this series is really bad. Really bad. Really bad.
Woke the
It
gentle
is
giant.
strange, but I don't consider it bad.
I consider it
This is what Ryan does, A guy doesn't agree with him. He goes, okay, I'm going to stop talking to you. I'm going to go to the guy that actually agrees with me.
No,
Charlie.
Exactly. It's either Charlie or Brock.
No, Charlie's a big fan of Dan Slott's Spider-Man, and
Yeah,
I wanted to
and
ask him because I feel like this run has been.
Yeah, but you're going to the man that likes
this
everything,
run
and you're looking
is
for
a
critical-
little all over the place with the way that they kind of change things up with Spider-Man answering to S.H.I.E.L.D., yet being but in general, I kind of like the changes they've made with Peter. I like the fact that his company's got these contracts. I like the fact that they're able to sort of embrace a little bit more I can build the stuff for Spider-Man and not necessarily have to hide it and that kind of stuff. And they've done a good job of taking certain things that I really, really like. Like I like the fact that Doc Ock's mind's in the robot body at this point, and it's got enough going for it that I'm enjoying it, even though the Zodiac stuff I agree is pretty stupid. But everything else in the book, in terms of the foundation they're setting up, I think is still very solid.
Okay.
And man, those Alex Ross covers.
Well, Craig, I insulted your favorite
this is
movie.
one of those few times when I'm not cheering for Alex Ross covers.
Yeah.
I insulted your favorite movie and your favorite comic. So what else do you like? What are you reading these days? I mean,
Snyder's
besides
Batman
that.
is phenomenal. The Justice League run has been great.
All right, now you're fine. Now you're fine. Now you're good.
I don't. For a while, I was really heavy DC. Then it rolled back to really heavy Marvel. I'm still in a really heavy Marvel stage. But unfortunately, I buy a lot of stuff that I might not enjoy because I'm kind of a completist. So I just keep turning.
I've had a number of customers that was the case until all the reboots started happening and the renumberings, and a lot of people sort of lost their need to buy everything at that point. Has that affect you at all, or are you still all in?
Yeah, especially since I'm sitting there trying to inventory this stuff, and it's like you can't figure out what order it's supposed to go in, and some of the stuff it's just it's 5 or 6 issues and dies.
Yeah.
So it's hard to try and find the right ones that are going to last.
Yeah.
You buy characters you like, but that's not always working anymore. So. But on the whole, I wouldn't be doing it every week if I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. All right. Well, you've been listening to us for a little while. We like to we have a bunch of random segments we want to do. And this week, we have the March 2016 sales charts. Bryce, you love me reading lists. It's your favorite part of this podcast
You
every
need
week.
to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I like your sales lists. I hate it when you are like, well, this comic book company has some delays this month. Let me read out every single title that was delayed and by how long. Those are the boring lists. I like the sales, the behind-the-counter shop talk is actually really cool.
Okay. I just saw your reply to my my Twitter animated GIF from earlier, so that's perfect. All right, perfect.
Funny.
Well, let's have people guess. There are 10 comic books that were the top 10 comics, obviously.
By people, who do you mean?
anyone.
Number one, Batman.
Of March 2016. Who wants... Well, yeah, that's the cover of everything. Who wants to guess what the top 10 comics were for March? You said Batman. You're correct.
Batman, Saga,
Batman,
Old Man Logan.
Hold on. Batman.
Hyperion, number one. Just kidding. That's
Batman number one. Batman is a number one comic. Issue 50, of course, big anniversary issue. Huge.
Sorry, which number?
Number one. Or number 50.
Number 50.
And it is the number one comic.
Okay, that makes sense. It's number 50. Did they do like an anniversary or something?
Well, all the DC books, anniversary, and
the big return of like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I'm going to spoil everything today. I'm in spoiler mode.
Was he gone?
They had the polybag and the Jim Lee cover.
Yeah, huge sale increase.
Dang.
It was at about 100,000 copies, up to 163,000. So we're at that point now where we are starting to see the top come significantly down because it's better than last month, I believe, by a little bit. We only have 3 books that broke 100,000 copies this month, which we had entire months where all 10 or even like the top 12 or 15 broke. So we're kind of starting to got tops coming down, but with Rebirth and Civil War 2 right around the corner, I'm sure that will change.
Right.
What's another book on our little top 10
did
here?
Any of the DK3 issues come out in March?
No, that would have been the number one if it did, but yeah, nothing in March. It's way off schedule.
Oh, no, it's not Frank Miller, so that is actually...
It is Frank Miller.
Oh, it is Frank Miller.
Yeah.
All right, well, you know what should be in the top 10 is Daredevil, but I'm sure it was not. Oh, Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes, Amazing Spider-Man number 9 is the number 5 book at 88,000 copies. And I know we've had a pretty significant drop in sales in that recently, so I'll be curious what the next few months are like. Yes, Star Wars always. Star Wars number 3.
Vader.
Well, number 17 is at the number 3 spot at 107,000 copies. Vader number 17 and 18 are the 6 and 7 spots at 80,000 and 77,000 copies. So you're missing number 2.
Number 2.
It's an independent comic.
Saga.
Nope.
Walking Dead.
Nope.
Paper Girls.
Nope.
Alpha.
Nope. It is not by Image. Or Dark Horse.
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 1 by Boom Studios. 120,000 copies.
What the heck?
That's book sold. Okay. I have to admit, our sales are pretty bad on it, and especially for issue 2. Like, nobody came about issue 2. But sales on number 0 were so crazy high, and there was so much hype for that book. But, like a lot of titles...
Is it a great... Who's the creative team behind it? Or do people just love the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yeah, Kyle Higgins is doing it? Yeah. But, I mean...
Look, I don't trust anybody named Higgins.
Smart.
I'm not sure.
Well, I think there's also the fact that when they go back to an old property and pretty much put a stamp of any level of canon continuation on it.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
We have the number 3 book. I'm sorry, the number 4 book. Number 3 was Star Wars. Number 4, it's a DC comic.
Justice League.
Another anniversary issue. No, Justice League's way behind schedule.
Oh, okay.
It's a big character. He was just in a movie that came out.
Batman versus Superman.
Superman, number 50 at 91,000 copies, which is like 3 times the sales of the previous issue of Superman. It's end of kind of an anniversary. It's an anniversary, end of a big story, lead into Super League, had the sketch cover variant stuff, so big push for the movie. So, yeah, big numbers. We sold a shitload of that book. Superman 50. And
that's surprising.
And 51 did really good, too, because that's the start of the Super League stuff. So, we sold a bunch of those. Number 8 also had a movie fairly recently. It's one of the most successful movies of all time from Marvel.
Ant-Man number 12.
Close.
And we're back to Deadpool.
Deadpool. Number 8 at the number 8 spot is 72,000 copies.
I'm surprised it's so low.
This guy also has he's going to be in a movie coming out in 3 weeks. He's fighting the other guy. That's the titular character. International Iron Man number 1 at 70,000 copies. Yeah.
By the way, that was a good book. Did you read it?
No, not yet. It's in my stack.
That's great, but it was good.
That number 1 bump.
Good. You guys earned it now.
And then this is the longest.
One of us is.
The longest title on the new release list. It's a number 1. It sold 68,000 copies. It's a Marvel comic. It is, I believe...
The all-new, all-different, totally awesome, Incredible Hulk.
What?
Well, it's pretty... I I believe it is the longest title on here with 7. Oh no, there's technically one more that also has 7. 7 words. Yep,
Was that the one that I just said?
7-word
'Cause
title.
Is it Return to the 36 Chambers of Death?
Although technically, Batman 66 meets the Man from U.N.C.L.E., I think, beats it out. No, that ties it too. So it's pretty long. It's a pretty long word. Pretty long comic title.
Is it Karnak?
Yes, Karnak. This would be
Pleasant Hill?
It is. Good guess. Avengers standoff. Avengers standoff assault on Pleasant Hill Alpha.
Perfect.
So fuck you, comic books. You're the worst. You have the worst titles ever.
Confirmed. Higgins does not like colons.
I don't like 4 fucking colons in a stupid title. So these are top 10. Yeah, some okay books on that list. Who wants to guess the top 2 graphic novels for the month, because those are the only 2 that matter?
Batman and Saga and Walking Dead.
That's 3. It would be Walking Dead 25 and Paper Girls. Actually, crap. Who wants to guess the number 3 highest selling graphic novel of the month of March? Because number 1 is Walking Dead Volume 25. Number 2 is Paper Girls Volume 1, which I'm actually
number
surprised it
3
didn't sell
is
more.
Saga number 1 or Walking Dead number 1.
Nope. You're in the kind of right.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
No. But it's not a new comic. That's for damn sure.
Avengers, Assault on Pleasant Hill,
Civil War. That book has been selling
Yeah, that makes sense.
ridiculous numbers recently.
Well, Marvel is better.
No, so there you go. Marvel had overall unit sales 42% of the sales. DC at 25%.
Can you
Image at
subtract Star Wars from that, please, and give us the real number?
30.
Don't shake your head at me, Charlie. It's the truth.
I'm going to shake my head at you all I want, Brock.
Image at
You can still say it,
8.63%.
and it's still annoying.
Boom, all the way up to 4% of the market, almost entirely because of Power Rangers. So up from like 2 or 3%. Yep. Good stuff.
Good for them.
6.9 million copies sold, down 11% versus same month previous year, but up versus extended out. So a lot of comics. Slow start to the year, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Well, we're waiting for
The boom?
Civil War II and Rebirth.
Yeah. Next few months are gonna be insane. So Charlie, you were gone last week.
Yes, I was.
Speaking of comic books, at Emerald City Comiccon, your favorite comic convention of the year.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of that sweet spot for me where it's big enough that it attracts a lot of the comic creators and a lot of the discount booths and all that. But it's not so big that it becomes a huge hassle for me like Comic-Con does. So, no, I didn't do any panels this year. I wandered around the show floor. I found some great bargains at some booths. I went and talked to Jim Zub, Gail Simone a little bit.
What a surprise.
Andy Soriano. Yeah, I wandered around a lot, took a look at a lot of impressive art, and yeah.
Didn't it just announce a Jim Sub book? Isn't he writing something big?
Is he?
Yeah,
He's doing that D&D book? Isn't he doing the new D&D?
Yeah, he's doing the new
I want to
3D.
say he's doing a Marvel or DC book now, and I was
Not DC.
Well, he had been doing the Figment book for a while.
no, like a top tier book. I want to say, and maybe I'm totally crazy, but I want to say they announced it, and I'm like, fuck, I got to tell Charlie this, but Charlie hasn't been online lately. No,
He's doing some other Image stuff, but I don't remember him
really?
saying... Yeah, I can't remember. Glitter Bomb, that's his Image title.
No.
So, if people wondering about Emerald, I'm sorry, if people are wondering about Image Expo, we're going to discuss that next week because there's a lot of new titles. So we are going to talk about
It was kind of funny that they just kind of pre-attached it to Emerald City condo.
Well, they did that at Comic-Con a couple years ago.
Really? Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to add to Charlie's thing too. It's not only a sweet spot for a lot of goers, or it's also a sweet spot for the artists. A lot of the artists really, really like Emerald City Con the best, actually, out of all the cons, just because there's just enough people. Like, there's a lot of people coming in, but not too many people like it is in San Diego Comic Con at this point.
Well, it's still about comic books.
Yeah.
Are you thinking Thunderbolts?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, maybe that's not quite A-list, but it's Winter Soldier leading the Thunderbolts. Yeah, but that is totally what I was thinking of, though.
And isn't that coming out of Standoff?
Yeah, it's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I like the original Thunderbolts quite a bit. So
I'm so jealous that you guys have Tom King.
You should be.
I just have no words other than that.
But no, it's so people have been doing like Comic-Con are kind of well aware of if you want like a signature from like Gail Simone or somebody, you have to wait till that assigned time at like the DC booth, wait through a hellish line that makes it almost questionable whether or not it was worth waiting. But at Emerald City, Gail Simone just has a table. If she's not at panels, she's at her table, and you can just find time to go over there. There's plenty of times when it's not completely packed with insane lines, and the lines never get as long as they do at like Comic-Con for any of these top tier creators. And there's no con that I'm aware that's quite like it at this point, where you still kind of have the Hollywood side of things sort of creeping in, but it's also sort of segmented away from like where all the comic creators are and that kind of stuff. So you don't really feel the creep as much when at Emerald City as you do when you're at Comic-Con or some of these other cons where the Hollywood side kind of took it over. This kind of put the Hollywood side on a different part of the convention center, so you just are completely unaware of it when you're on the comic side, which I really, really like.
Craig, do you do any of the big cons out by you?
No, the big one we have out there is more of a gaming convention than a comic convention. We've got Gen Con,
which
is August,
huge.
Which is huge. It's getting bigger every year.
Yeah.
We're starting to get a few cons. I've not been to them yet. I probably should, but they're starting to come in slowly but surely. But Emerald City is one that I always start thinking, man, if I could just travel around to do a con, that's one of the cons I'd like to go to because it sounds like a really good con.
Yeah.
But, we don't have a lot. We're starting to grow. I think we have PopCon is coming up soon, and it's not the size of some of the stuff out here.
No, but I mean, just looking at what's been happening to the convention circuit, especially over like the last year, cons are popping up like left and right, like just because of the Hollywood support. I kind of feel because some of these stars rake in some serious cash doing cons now. Like how many were in like San Jose alone this year? Like 3?
Well, Big WoW, Silicon Valley, Fanime, Heroes and Villains, Wizard World. That's 5.
Yeah, we went from like 2 decent cons to 5 in 1 year. And from what I can tell, this is becoming a normal thing, is because like the Wizard World has greatly expanded to a lot more cities, and Heroes and Villains is popping up in all sorts of places. It's a crazy time for cons right now.
I kind of tell people to go to the established ones. Just the new ones. I feel like a lot of them want to grab. Not necessarily all of them. I do have to say I really enjoyed Heroes and Villains, but that's very Arrow Flash centric, I want to say. But a lot of the other ones, like Silicon, I had no interest whatsoever in going, just because it's such a rookie con. Even though it's part with Big WoW, I was like, I don't trust them fairly. I mean, there's San Francisco Comic-Con is coming now in September.
Yeah, they need to kind of figure out what they're doing, and it feels like every report I hear from these conventions is such a nightmare. And,
so I truly do recommend some of the original cons. Emerald is one of them. It's growing. WonderCon, San Diego, it's probably too big for most people. New York is going. The Emerald one is now affiliated with New York one, isn't it now? Aren't they like kind of hooked up together now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious about the New York one, see how much it is like San Diego or how much it is more like Emerald. And I'm hoping it's more like Emerald Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about that, how many is the stars that come out, because the cons that are new to Indianapolis, all the promotional materials, all these people they've got coming out to do signings, and most of them are the TV and movie folks.
Yeah, they're not comic book conventions anymore, right? And they haven't been for a long time. So, whatever. I mean, that's fine. It's just, it's not what, they call them Comic Cons, but there's very few, if any, comic book people involved in a lot of these.
Well, it's called Comic Cons because of San Diego. Everybody realized, wait, a comic book convention, we could just call them Comic Cons, and we could get away with it. They're not going to sue us. Well, let's call it that.
Yeah.
Because I got so many people now hitting me up. Hey, Toby, did you know there's a Comic Con here? I'm like, that's not the same thing.
No.
Well, that when you search that hashtag, it comes up with anything now.
Right. So any super cool things you did besides Jim Zub?
Drink a bunch of shots with Jordan and Jess.
Whoa. Charlie, is this
Wait
you?
a minute.
Is this Sinestro, Charlie?
Toby.
Sinestro, Charlie?
There's even photographic evidence somewhere.
Really? Oh, we gotta hit up Jess. Wait, did that find your flaming Dr. Pepper drink finally?
No.
No? But you just drank it anyways?
Hey, Toby, if you talk at a 45-degree angle to the mic, it doesn't pick up?
Well, I've been sold out on the last few podcasts. I figure if I'm going 45 degree, then I'm leveled out at this point. So, it's, you want to overblow me every time.
What a gentleman.
Just to specify this a little bit more.
Yes?
Toby's not the only one who was shocked that I agreed to do shots.
Who else? Like everybody else?
Just spent the entire con going, I must have died on the plane or something because this can't be happening.
Well, I have to say congrats to Jess because... First of all, because he got you to drink, and second of all, he lost like half his body somewhere. Like, he lost a lot of weight, man. He looks really good. I say that as a dude, but, I'll give respect where respect is due. Now it got weird. All right, I'll keep talking about something else now.
So
you mean you can still be a dude? You mean like you say that as a straight man? Is that what you meant?
He did really good there.
You can still be a dude and still notice that.
I was like, shit, I didn't recognize him at first. I'm like, wait, that's Jess? Whoa.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, what did you partake in?
Yeah, what happened? Like, someone's birthday? Like... No, Jim Sup decided to join you guys for drinks, and you're like, fuck it.
Know what
this
happened.
Is the time I'll do it.
What happened when you had one or two shots and you got so drunk that you ripped your shirt off and ran around the town?
No, this was...
Painted yourself green, called yourself totally awesome.
Oh, man. See, now I know I missed out. Forget the con. Just so Charlie had a shot. One, he says he had a few or many. I totally missed out this con.
No.
Yes, I did.
One shot doesn't affect me at all. 2 shots affects me enough that I start analyzing how it's affecting me.
Bro, there's no way that 2 shots affects you. You outweigh me. There's no way. There's just no way.
So wait, how many did you get? 10?
No, I stopped at 3.
That's still glorious because we barely get you to sip on one.
Three's pretty good.
Yeah,
three's pretty good. I wish I was there.
Charlie, it was because you were on vacation, right?
So can we not ask?
Did you have the kids there?
Do you have to ask like Jess and the rest of the guys and what happened? Because you're not giving us any good details.
There's no good really details to give.
Yeah, I think there is. You probably just don't remember.
I really wish you had...
the only person who had trouble remembering stuff was Jess because he lost all that weight.
Oh. Oh, man. I feel like we're missing half the story here, though. I think we need to get you drunk to give us the real story. So now that we know the seal's been broken, we could put some stuff into that cup there, that coffee thing that you're drinking there.
I like it. Oh, speaking of Emerald City, can we talk about another Emerald character, which is Karnak, and how awesome the issue number 2 was?
Let's actually talk about Emerald City Comic-Con and the one piece of news that I want to talk about out of it.
What did you have to drink?
It's like a segue fail.
Whatever Jordan and Jess put in front of me kind of thing.
Okay.
So, also at Emerald City Comic-Con, besides Charlie drinking, which is apparently big news, there was a couple new DC books announced. Gerard Way, musician and occasional comic book writer, is coming to DC to do a bunch of one rumored title and the rest are brand new. We didn't know anything about. A couple. I feel like I talked about this a few weeks back. There was talk that Vertigo was going to kind of stop being a lot of creator-owned stuff and be more like the old Vertigo, which was DC characters that just put under like a mature reader line. Sandman, Swamp Thing, Animal Man, the way it used to be. So the new series, it's not actually under Vertigo, but I believe it's edited by Vertigo because there's all Vertigo people involved. Kind of like Helix. Does anyone remember Helix? Yeah. It was where Transmet first appeared in the mid-90s. Anyone? Do you guys remember this? There was like the Vertigo's imprint. Again, it was weird. So it has the stupidest name of all time. It's called Young Animal. I don't know what this means. I don't know why this is what it's called.
Why is Young Animal the stupidest name ever?
That's the name of the imprint. The imprint is Young
I thought
Animal.
That was the title of the book. Okay.
No, so it's an imprint from DC Comics. It's all Gerard Way.
It makes perfect sense. It's going to be Thundercats. It's going to be a bunch of other cats.
Young
Beast Boy
Thundercats.
Solo title.
Yeah.
It is. So it's going to be.
If people are searching YA, it'll pop up in the young adult.
Maybe, I don't know, but these aren't going to be young adult books. So the first is Doom Patrol by Gerard Way.
The joke.
By Gerard Way and Nick Darrington.
This is the My Chemical Romance guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's written a few comics for Dark Horse. He did.
Yeah, I read the Dark Horse ones. I forget what it's called.
He did some stuff with Grant Morrison in the past.
Oh, you love him.
I do. Shade the Changing Girl, which is a new take on Shade the Changing Man, by Cecil Castellasi and Becky Cloonan's doing the art, which she was originally supposed to do Doom Patrol, but I guess they flipped it up. This is the greatest title of all time. Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. That's the name of the comic book. Cave Carson's an old, obscure DC character that they're bringing back to...
Yeah, in HeroClix, he goes underground in the map and he pops up somewhere else.
There you go.
And he can carry some people maybe, but he's okay. He's not too good, but he's good. He's good.
He's going to have a new comic by Jardway and John Rivera with Michael Oeming doing the art. Charlie, I know you're a fan of him. And then a completely new book called Mother Panic by Jardway, Jody Hauser, and Tommy Lee Edwards. So I love Tommy Lee Edwards. He's a fantastic artist. So I'm really looking forward to these books. I'm sure they'll be canceled immediately, but I'm really looking forward to these books because this is that weird Vertigo and Helix shit that DC used to do. So I'm very curious about these. I hope they do well.
It's a little disappointing they're not doing Congorilla or something in there too.
Well, they had they brought Congorilla back a long time ago, or Justice League. Yeah. So, but
with
Starman, yeah, with the blue Starman, yeah, Mikhail, yeah. So I'll be very curious what they end up doing with these books, if anything. But who knows? All right. Did you watch movies? Did you watch TV shows? Did you watch all of them? All the comic stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I made sure I was caught up before I got here.
Oh, wow. Like, really caught up. Excellent.
Caught up on Gotham.
Well, we won't have your... man, I haven't even watched this week's Gotham yet. Well, we won't have your 45-minute take on Batman v Superman. But we will talk about...
ready for it, man.
What about his 5-minute take? Do we have time for that?
Do you have a 5-minute take on Batman v Superman?
I probably have less than a 5-minute take.
Can you do a real Bryce briefly?
Let's do it.
I don't know if I can do a Bryce briefly. I don't think I can quite achieve that level. But, I will say I spent 30 minutes at my local comic store, Downtown Comics in Indianapolis, breaking down every single thing that is wrong with that movie. And at the end of it all, came to the fact that I still kind of enjoyed that movie.
Cool.
So, I mean, I saw it. I still want to go see it again because you guys have all said how much different it is, or how different it is on the second viewing. I walked out of that movie saying to my friend I saw it with, I said, I just think fundamentally Zack Snyder doesn't understand Superman and Batman.
I agree.
So yeah, I think it's the same problems I had in Man of Steel.
Now you lost me.
No,
I
enjoy the movies because I love comic book movies, and I think I should go to them so they make more comic book movies.
Yes,
but Superman should be inspiring. Superman is not inspiring in this movie, and that's fundamentally my issue with it. Plus, that wall killed that guy that he shoved him through. And so it's just, it should be brighter. It should be lighter, in my opinion. But I still enjoyed it. I mean, it was fun to watch. And a lot of people say, well, should I go see it? I said, well, if you miss the first hour and a half, you're not going to miss too much. Mm-hmm. But the last hour is worth every minute of seeing that movie because the last hour is just phenomenal, that battle. And I will say, and I think you guys have said it before, what makes that movie for me is Wonder Woman's smirk.
Oh, yeah.
That is absolutely the highlight of that film. That's the one part where I actually just broke out in a big
5 seconds
smile.
of the movie is all anyone needs to see of this.
It's like a half second.
She actually planned that. She actually did that on purpose.
I saw that. Yeah. It's perfect. So that's my 3-minute review of Batman v Superman.
I could have done it as simply.
No, you couldn't have.
No, you would have taken up the 45 minutes, Bryce.
Said no one ever. Yeah.
I will continue to disagree that Superman is not that he's not
No, let's just leave it with the smirk makes the movie.
But
that's the perfect ending.
Yeah, it was a good ending.
Make it good.
I even agree on that.
Good.
Did you see that it had like the second sharpest or the sharpest second week drop off in terms of revenue since like in the past half decade?
Stop with the negativity. Let's just go on.
I was just as a point of observation.
Well,
I was going to say because it's a shame more people didn't follow your recommendation to see it a second time.
Well, it did have a pretty sharp decline, and it did lose the number one spot in the third week, which is obviously not what these guys wanted. All the rumor, though, is that they're going to release the R-rated cut in the theater before the Blu-ray comes out, which will bump them over their $1 billion, hopefully, bump them over their $1 billion kind of target mark.
I guess that
We'll
counts.
see.
You just release it again, and then it all counts as the same movie.
Yeah.
Plus,
Even though it's
already profitable, so
Titanic made money that way.
Didn't they do
but we
Avengers
talked
that
about
way?
that.
But they
Yeah.
re-released Avengers too at the end of the summer, didn't they?
What?
They
I
put
thought
Avengers
they
back
did.
out?
I
No.
thought they put Avengers back out. I could have dreamed that.
Well, they put
In a wet
they
dream.
put they put them all back out the day before the movie comes out because they always do these big marathons,
Yeah.
and those numbers count towards the total income for those movies. So I mean, re-releasing a movie in the theater is not a new thing. I mean, every Disney movie ever has been reissued, and
Well, that I know. And like Gone with the Wind and Star
Yeah.
Wars
Yeah.
and like Titanic they did.
Yeah.
Oh, and so how about like Jurassic Park when they did that 3D?
Yeah, that all counts.
So Jurassic Park 3D
Yes.
decades later, that counts as the original box
So
office?
did the Star Wars when they redid it. That
Yep.
counted, and they're going to release them again next year.
That's-
Or it might be
that's-
later this year.
that's
That counts
been-
again, too.
That's bananas. But
So-
does that? So here's another question though: does retrofitting it to be? So it was originally, what was it? 200, 300, 400 million dollars, and they needed like 1.2 or 1.3 billion to be successful, quote unquote, air quotes for the audio people.
for Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
But at this point, they're never going to hit those numbers. I mean, this will go down as a not a very profitable movie. There was, I know you hate me pointing out the fact that Man of Steel's profitability, a lot of it came from sort of the money they got before the movie even came out, but that is going into why this movie it's made significantly more and will be less profitable than Man of Steel because of all the product placement and money they got from other companies beforehand. So yeah, it's weird. Financially, it is a failure. At this point, there was 2 other things that came out though in the last few days. The head of Warner Brothers officially announced a Batman solo film is in the works. We all knew about it, but it is actually happening at this
Oh,
point.
I saw they
and
moved up the Wonder Woman date.
Yeah, they moved Wonder Woman up
And
a little bit.
I thought that they added 2 more DC movies.
I think it was 3, right?
I
Before
saw
the end.
2, but maybe it was 3.
Well, I think they added 3.
Did they say which ones it was? Though I didn't see which
Well,
ones it was.
I think they added 3 dates, but 2 of them I think were DC. One of them I think was either Harry Potter or Lego, because those are like their big.
Oh, was it Lego
tentpole.
Batman?
It might have.
They announced that one.
That was already announced.
yeah, it already has a trailer and everything.
Like a teaser. Yeah.
Okay, fine, a teaser.
Yeah. Is it a full trailer? Oh.
I went to watch The Barbershop last night, and they had a full trailer with it.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
A Lego movie on the barbershop?
WB?
Yeah. But they did release as part of the MTV Movie Awards a brand new trailer for Suicide Squad, which I'm hoping everyone here got a chance to see.
Yeah,
Forget that. You, Bryce, would like that Salt and Pepper came out and performed with a bunch of fucking Deadpools. It was freaking glorious.
That sounds incredible.
It was so awesome.
That sounds
was
like heaven on earth.
it was very, very cool.
Which song? They had
The
to
one
shoot?
in the movie.
Oh, got it.
Yes,
I thought
you know
that
which
this
one.
was related to Suicide Squad.
Well, I
was the
interrupted
MTV
his.
Awards.
I interrupted
Oh.
his Suicide Squad by saying something more important. But if you don't want to follow me, it's fine. We could go back to
Deadpool
Suicide
is more
Squad.
important than Suicide Squad.
that's okay. I'm just wondering if there were more Deadpools on stage or at Emerald City. 'Cause there were a
Oh, yeah,
lot of
that's-
Deadpools
that's
at Emerald
all-
City.
Yeah.
Did you see any Gwenpools?
No Gwenpools. I did see
I
some
would think
Spider
that'd be
Gwens.
a
and
pretty easy go-to for the ladies to. Although, did you see any lady Deadpools?
no,
Damn it! Did you see any females this weekend, Charlie?
I saw a lot of females.
All right, sure you did.
But this new Suicide Squad trailer, David Ayers came out right afterwards and said, "I don't know what you people are talking about. We're adding some stuff to the movie, but we're not reshooting to make it funnier." Yeah. This trailer, if you saw the trailer, hey, guess what? It's 3 more minutes of all new jokes, and they didn't film that in the last week. So all this nonsense of them going back because the movie wasn't funny enough is bullshit. But this new trailer, man, this movie looks better with every trailer. It's a more traditional trailer. It's not as stylized as the previous one, but this new trailer was pretty fucking awesome.
Dude, you are the biggest hypocrite ever. How many trailers are you going to watch?
Well,
This is like the 4th Suicide Squad trailer
This
you
is
watch,
only the
and you're on every
third.
other podcast saying, "Hey, you don't watch trailers."
This is only the 3rd, and I'm kind of breaking my rule with Suicide Squad because
But you also broke it with Star Wars, and you also broke it with Man of Steel
did
and
not-
Batman.
Nope. The last thing I saw for Star Wars was Chewie, We're Home. That's the last thing I saw. I only ever saw that one I saw that very first, like, way early teaser and that trailer, and that's it. Batman v Superman, I only watched whatever that big Doomsday reveal one, and obviously that's a big trailer, but that was the last one I saw. Suicide Squad, I'm kind of breaking my rule a little bit. But I feel
think
like
Civil War was the one that prior to this that you had started to break your rule a little bit on. Because Bryce is right. You did sort of establish very recently, like, I kind of broke my rule on this one, and now we're treading over it again.
Was that a third Civil War trailer, or was that only the second? My rule is always 2. I thought that was only the second.
Well, your rule used to be a teaser,
and
then a trailer.
Well, a teaser and a trailer, but there are no teasers anymore.
And now it's like a teaser and a trailer, and then a second trailer, and then I'll break my rule.
The teasers are now 2.5-minute trailers,
right,
and the trailers are like 4 minutes.
It's all good. It doesn't matter.
Call it what you want, Ryan.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But you're avoiding all the other Civil War stuff that's been poured out.
I haven't
last
watched
2 weeks. Right?
No, nothing. Yeah. I don't see any of that stuff. Yeah, the last thing I saw for Civil War was Spider-Man being like, "Hey, what's up?" Like that's it. That's the last thing I saw. So if there's been other stuff, I haven't seen it.
God, this year's going by so fast.
I know.
So can we get back to something that looks good called the Suicide Squad trailer?
Suicide Squad looks so good, though.
I've been looking forward to that movie more. I was looking forward to it a lot more than Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah.
And so it just looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, for all the worries about some of the casting, it just looks, Will Smith and all that, it looks fantastic. I can't wait to see it.
What is the worry about casting other than Will Smith? Is there?
No, I think he's the one that's maybe kind of the question mark because he's a quote-unquote big star.
Yeah. Well, he's my question mark, but that's the only question mark for me.
I may have overstated.
I think a lot of people were also concerned about Harley. I can't remember her name. Like
nobody
they
was
were
concerned
not.
about that.
No, they were
who
not.
was concerned about
that was
Harley
as
Quinn?
perfect as it's going to get with that one.
Look-wise, yes, but not. But how is she going to portray her?
Oh no, she's going to be totally fine. I don't know what you're smoking.
Jared
dude,
Leto
seriously.
on Joker.
That's the other
That
one.
was the other one.
right, that's
Harley
fair,
was
that's fair.
never a concern.
I think
But
once
that's not a casting thing. That's like the look that he went with.
Yeah.
I think once people saw any of these people in action, anything just went out the window, and you're like, no, this is all perfect. My fear is blowback from BVS affecting Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I have a little fear of that too.
I know, and I hope. I mean,
Wait, I mean, like, because
if
it's DC, so they're gonna hate it vicariously.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Bryce, have you met yourself?
Yeah.
Have you
The look on his face.
Have you listened to the words that come out of your mouth?
I just know I'm going to pay for it. He's already plotted it.
That was a good one.
That was well played. I'll get you, Sidler.
My hope is if it reviews well, that will buck any problem. Because you have to think about it. The X-Men movies have always had mixed. I mean, some of them prior to the last two were good. The previous couple were crap. The previous few were good. So X-Men's been back and forth on the reviews. But Deadpool hit a completely new audience.
No, hold on. But I've talked to a couple people, and Mitch. I've talked to him, and his friends are super excited for.
Hey, Mitch.
Super excited for Suicide Squad, and they know nothing about Suicide Squad.
Sure. No one knows anything about Suicide Squad.
Versus their them seeing the Batman v Superman stuff, and they Craig, you're more excited for Suicide Squad than you were for BVS.
Right.
And I think that despite BVS's faltering or stumbling or whatever, I think there's small amounts of blowback, but I think Ayers has done a good enough job with giving us really good, really solid trailers that there is excitement for it, that people are excited to see this movie.
Like Deadpool, here's the problem. People know or think they know Batman and Superman. The Suicide Squad is completely open. These are characters that, Harley Quinn being the exception, but these are characters that nobody knows anything about.
Well, this is going to be the new Blade. People don't know.
This is their Blade. This is their.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
Their Guardians.
This is their Guardians.
No, I mean, they're going to go in not knowing anything about these characters. Yeah, sure, Guardians may be a better example, but, same point, though.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to go in without, a baggage of history behind it.
Yeah,
Except for Ryan Scott. Ryan Scott is going, it's not right. It's wrong.
I know, but so you're saying that there's going to be blowback because of it's a DC movie. Do you think that the vast majority of people that are not DC versus Marvel relevant are going to compare it more to Guardians rather than another DC movie?
Well, I have this fear that we may have had our peak of superhero genre movies. That the normals at this point after BVS are going to be a little worn out and they're just not going to care anymore.
Civil War is going to do like $1.6 billion in the box office.
Dude,
so
people have been talking about this peak that you're speaking of for like a fucking decade.
That's good. Well, I fucking want the peak to stay. I just say everything that goes up eventually comes down. So I'm worried about that time to come one day.
One day it'll come, and they've been talking about one day it'll come for a decade. And it will come, but like
Bryce's whole thing with Rotten Tomatoes is where I agree that Bryce is actually like most people. You actually care about reviews. We're all going to see the movies anyway, right? But you have said on previous episodes.
I am like most people. I'm not sure. I'm trying to find the troll comment. There's got to be
there's none. There's none. We'll go see any piece of shit. You actually are a little.
I'm pretty sure you're trolling me.
No, I'm not. And here's the thing:
it's got to be in there.
Batman v Superman was always going to make $800 million. If a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes bumps that up to 1.3, 1.4 billion.
Oh, right.
Civil War.
That I agree with.
If it comes out and it's a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's pulling in 1.4, 1.5 billion. If it doesn't, it'll be like Age of Ultron, and it'll do really well, but not the numbers they
let
want.
Ryan finish talking, please? You have your hand out to interrupt him. Just let him, please.
I'm done. Continue.
Yeah. So I'm helping him with as an example.
Yeah, you're helping. You're helping fucking nothing.
Let me say what he just said.
Fantastic Four, right?
Well,
you went and watched that piece of shit movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's because our fucking duty to do that.
No, I didn't go.
No one else did. Yeah. But I had a fear of Suicide Squad that even though it's rated PG-13 and maybe a little too adult, and a lot of kids wouldn't go see it, and a lot of maybe parents would be kind of weird about it. And then Deadpool made $800 million as an R-rated movie. So that fear is completely gone now as long as it's a good movie. So if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're going to go see Suicide Squad anyway. But if you have people that are like, well, it's like the Batman thing. No, hopefully this is going to be much different.
Unless you organize a bro night out, I'm not going to go see Suicide Movie if it gets a bad Rotten Tomato score.
Of course I'm going to have a group outing at this. Of course.
You don't do it for all Marvel movies is all I'm saying. You do it for every DC movie. Thank God there's only been 2.
Marvel
and
studio movie.
I just don't do it for
He just do it for the Fox ones. He does it for all the Marvel
Studios.
Studios.
You do for the Marvel Studio. Okay, I take it back. I take it back. You're right.
And I got too delayed on Ant-Man. I didn't do it on Ant-Man.
You didn't do it on Ant-Man. That's right. That's what I'm thinking of.
I was out of town.
The very last one.
They're really pushing Suicide Squad though, and like fucking YouTube. Every time I watch a video, I get a Suicide Squad before it, which is like.
Isn't there like predictive metadata from YouTube about?
Oh, maybe.
Like,
that makes perfect sense. And never mind.
And here's the thing: I don't know what
You're welcome.
what the production budget on Suicide Squad is, but I guarantee you it's not the same budget as Batman v Superman.
Oh, dude, it's
I
a
think
fraction.
that will work in its favor. Though.
Well, right.
That's what he's saying.
So you don't have a $400 million movie that makes $800 million. You have a $100 million movie that makes $800 million, and any money they lost on Batman v Superman, they've made up
Plus,
for with
David
Suicide
Ayer is
Squad.
freaking awesome.
So let's hope.
No, I think those. Everyone complained about the trailers for Batman v Superman. I mean, some present companies.
Yeah, not Higgins.
But every Suicide Squad trailer builds. It's like Guardians was, right? I mean, it's like no one knows who this is, but they have made a movie that I think most people are sitting there watching those trailers going, well, I might go see that movie. I mean, I think, I'm pretty sure I can't get my wife to see it, but she might. So I just think there's a lot more. There's going to be more buzz. I think that movie's going to do very.
Did you show your
well.
wife the romantic comedy Deadpool trailer to try and get her to go?
No, my son went and saw Deadpool and came home and told my wife, he's 17. I'm old. And she said, "How's the movie?" She said, "Great. You don't like it. You wouldn't like it, Mom." And then I went and saw it. And I came home. She said, "How was it?" I said, "Yeah, you wouldn't like this movie at all. We're not showing my wife Deadpool."
And here she was like, "But it has Reynolds, Ryan R.
Thanks for bringing that back.
Ryan R.
Which handsome Canadian celebrity?
Yeah. And his butt cheeks are in the movie. I think she was kind of curious, maybe.
No. We're just not going to do that. That's Hopefully she'll be done listening to this by the time this comes up. But we're not going to show her that movie ever.
That's okay. Deadpool's about to come out on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real soon.
Yeah.
Is Star Wars still in the theater? Like they're still showing it in some places, right? Because it just came out on Blu-ray last week.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, like, if you have extra theaters in the parts of the country, no offense,
we don't have it there anymore.
That have plenty of real estate, and they can have theaters that are enormous, and they have extra theaters, like, everybody wants some, might not make so much money the 7th week, so maybe they keep Star Wars in.
You should see if it's at the Oaks.
Yeah, that would be the dollar theaters. So, with Suicide Squad, they pushed up Wonder Woman. We're supposed to hear, on the Marvel end, we're supposed to hear... Oh, Doctor Strange trailer is dropped by the time you've heard this episode, probably, so We'll talk about that next week.
Well, is it up right now? Because we can pause.
No, I don't see it.
I'm not watching that. Can we talk about comic books since this is a comic book podcast?
We can. We could talk all about
Karnak!
DC Rebirth. DC Karnak 2 was really good. DC Comics Rebirth. Now, hold on, Bryce. Let me pimp the store for a few minutes here, and then I'll
hear the words that are coming out. I've heard it all.
I'll let you
make Bryce pimp the store.
I'll let you rant about a couple comics you liked recently. But
go.
We talked about DC Rebirth last week about all the new titles.
So it's about time we did it again. Let's go.
The previews book is in stores this week. Mm-hmm. This is half a magazine that goes into all sorts of new detail about the comics. Has a checklist and then has all the solicitations for June, the first month of DC Rebirth. You should go to your local comic shop and pick these up. They should be free. They should have plenty of them. Hopefully they have plenty of them. If you are one of our customers or a mail order subscriber, or you would like to be, we are pushing this very heavily. Obviously, we did it for Secret Wars. We did it for New 52 way back in the day. We did it for all different X-Men.
Oh God, New 52 was way back in the day.
5 years ago.
Shit.
Or all different Marvel. We have a pre-order for the entire first month of Rebirth, which includes the Rebirth #1 comic that comes out in the last week of May. For people that do the pre-order, we are going to be giving you the Rebirth comic for free. Mm-hmm. So that's a free 80-page comic that's the kind of prelude to the big event. And then all the #1 issues, plus all the Rebirth #1 issues in the month of June. And we'll be continuing that for the first few months with all the first issues. We are going to be having an in-store midnight release for Rebirth. There's various things that we're allowed to sell on that day. We are not doing everything. We will have 3 comics available. Rebirth.
Ryan Higgins is going to be here?
I will not be here.
Ha! We're free.
Toby and Brock, you guys get to fight it out, and don't burn my store down, please.
Will not.
I'll be here.
Charlie will be here.
I'll be here.
We will have Rebirth #1 available. So this is on, what is this, the 24th, I believe it is?
Can't wait. We're going to surf beer.
No, it's the
not legally or legally.
27th?
No, it's May the 24th.
We're not doing that. Meant to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's Tuesday, sorry.
So it's Tuesday night, May 24th, Wednesday at 12:01 a.m., May 25th. We're allowed to sell Rebirth #1. We will also have the variant cover for Rebirth. Well, there's a couple of variant covers. We will also have Superman #52, which is the last part of the Super League crossover, which is a direct lead into Rebirth, as well as Justice League #50, which is the end of the Darkseid War, and a direct lead into Rebirth. We will have those available. If you show up to the midnight sale of this book, you will get a copy of Rebirth for absolutely free. The variant covers, all the special other stuff, I mean, obviously you have to buy those, but just for showing up at midnight, we'll give you a free copy of DC Rebirth #1's 80-page Jeff Johns goodness.
That means we can play like actually good music for once at a store event.
You're gonna have hip hop and country battling it out the whole night.
We'll just mash it together. It makes it even worse for you.
The two types of music that I ban from the store will be like peanut butter and jelly when I'm gone. So,
are you a country fan?
Yeah.
Look at him. The do-rag, the hair.
Fucking woof. What does that even mean? Look at him.
The Indiana places that he likes. Yeah, a lot of country over there.
Transplanted to Indiana.
Brock's a big fan of Indiana. That's where all his family is.
Right in.
I didn't know that's where his family was.
Yeah.
He looks like he's from Stockton, not Indiana.
So you know what that means.
Is he making some biker meth out back or something?
Yeah. Biker meth is exactly right.
It's a place called Charming.
So we'll obviously be talking about that a lot as we go forward, but just to give you guys a little head up, if you're going to be in the area for a local customer, make sure to put that on your schedule.
Put it in your Google Calendar.
Bryce, you love Marvel Comics so much. We haven't talked about enough Marvel Comics.
Is there anything better?
Because I'm going to be gone for a little bit, we're going to have some episodes recorded a little out of order. We are, though, in the next couple weeks. I've said this a few times, but we're actually nearing the end of the Marvel #1. So we're going to do 2 episodes. We are going to have another big Marvel #1 episode coming up in the next, I'd say, before the end of April. It'll probably be the last week of April.
You gotta give me some homework then. I'll read them.
Yeah, I'll give everyone the list because they had so many number ones coming out. We did a lot of episodes.
No, I'll totally read for it.
We got about 8 or 10, I think, at this point we need to talk about, and there's going to be about 6 or 8 more, so I'm going to break it up. We should have 2 more episodes discussing all the Marvel number ones as we get into Rebirth, where we can discuss all the Rebirth number ones.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah. So, Bryce, you'll have all sorts of time to talk about Marvel Comics, but you've got. I know you're just fiending.
I think Craig's just enjoying seeing Bryce take the mic off the stand, about to have his conversation, because he's wondered how Bryce has looked when he's giving one of his Marvel breakdowns.
I thought it was a Bryce Briefly coming up.
Yes, we all wish. So I would just like to call out, since I'll have my time in the sun apparently at another time, I would like to call out a couple, just briefly, pun not intended.
No number ones. How about some books?
No number ones?
Well, that's what we're going to do.
Okay. I'm going to give 6 books that everybody should be reading.
Karnak number 2 is basically a number 1, though, so I'll allow it.
And Star Branded Night Mask.
You mean you don't need to allow it because it's number 2?
Oh, sorry, but I will allow it.
You don't have to. It's not a number 1.
It's basically a new number 1.
Yeah.
But you'll still allow it, even though it's not a number 1.
But I'll allow it.
That's really annoying and weird. Karnak number 2. Everybody should go read it. That was really good. I don't know even how to describe it. Warren Ellis is only on it for a little while. So for those of you that don't know, Karnak number 2 came out because, as far as I understand from Mr. Higgins, I should let him say it, except that he hates Marvel and he would spin it negatively somehow. The artist apparently had some family emergency, and so the number 2 was delayed for months.
It's actually a completely different artist, I believe.
Okay, I did not know that. So the style is very similar, though.
Right. Double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's actually a different artist.
So when it's several months in between books, you forget the nuances, because it is the same sort of mood of the book in terms of this dark, brooding warrior monk. But it's really good. You should go see it. You wish that there was more of it coming out. So let's see. Old Man Logan continues to just be incredible. I'm not sure at the rate that they're going. I'm sure that Sorrentino is going to get picked up by DC because Marvel can't seem to.
That's where he came from.
No. He's going to go back.
Because DC got a bunch of Marvel guys.
You keep taking all of our best guys, so we get your best guys, and then they do like the Wolverines or something like that. So that's not helping.
What a waste of Jeff Lemire.
The Vision. I think that we've talked about that every time I've been on the podcast.
I think it was both of them or something. It was terrible, whatever it was. Report. Starbrand and Night Mask. We now have one customer that buys it, so it was not our lowest selling ongoing Marvel comic that sold 0 copies. We actually did sell a copy.
Lower than Wolverine?
It is tied with Wolverines.
That's still going.
No.
So let's see here. Another amazing book are all of the X books.
Okay, well, that's over 6. We're done.
You know what's really refreshing is all new X-Men.
Yeah, that all new X-Men, that X-Men worst X-Men ever. That's a great book. I love that book.
Oh, worst X-Men ever. I just bought it just now. I still haven't read it yet.
But shit, it's number 1. I can't talk about it.
Like they are literally fighting the Blob and Toad. Like what a nice like breath of fresh air that they're actually like X-Men fighting Blob and Toad. It's like so nice that it's actually like, oh God, the high school drama is still there. That's annoying, but in general, it's been good. What am I? I'm behind in so much, and I'm not buying the other. Oh my gosh, Daredevil! Daredevil continues to be incredible. Okay, and so my whole thing about Standoff. Standoff. Like, what another way to miss the mark. I like the idea that they're setting up this Pleasant Hill situation, and I see sort of the sides that are sort of forming, but they should have made a better sort of map, because all the stories tentatively or tenuously link, but nothing like really solidly links. Like, they all have elements that they share, but nothing like, it's not, I wish it was one or the other. I wish that they, all interacted with the story in their own unique way, or they, had a chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 type of thing. Instead, it's like this in this middle area where, we're only a couple chapters in, but, the Wrecker like goes to Avengers Mansion, and then he's in the next quote unquote chapter, but it has nothing to do with the previous chapter that he was in. So anyway, right now, I'm not impressed with Standoff, even though I really wish that I could like it so that I could talk some shit to Ryan. Other than that, yeah, I'm not reading any Star Wars, but Vision. I already said Vision. Vision has been incredible, but like it's bittersweet because I'm just watching Tom King do some of the best work at Marvel, and he's just going to the bad guys.
Are you caught up on Uncanny?
All but the last one. So what I do when I pull my books. Kelly says that, baby, I hope you're not listening to this. So I get 3 books a week. Now, I buy, as you know, more than 3 books a week. How that happens, we'll just never know. But anyway, so I am when I bring my pull list home, I put the quote unquote worst ones in front. So inevitably, that's going to be anything recently done by Bendis. It's going to be International Iron Man. I put right to the front, although it ended up not being bad. Oh, sorry, that's the number 1. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, I put that at the front of my list. That is some garbage.
You don't get that.
So why do you even get that?
I don't get it anymore. I just wanted to talk some shit. So, let's see. Spider-Man's they go in the front of the list. And then the best books, aka the X-Men books, go at the back of my list. So that like when I'm getting through my quote unquote week of books, I know that by the time I start getting to like the crossover books, I also like automatically put towards the back, except for this crossover, the Standoff. It's been Thor. Thor has been great. I also want to give a shout out to Thor. Thor has been. I want to give a shout out. Okay, aside.
Whoa. Did you have a brain fart?
Yep. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Alexis Martin. I went to NVIDIA's GTC at the San Jose Convention Center. It is a tech user conference. They do it annually. They actually have a couple all over the world. This company called NVIDIA that does graphic processors. I'm not sure. Okay.
Yes, they have buildings out off of San Tomas.
Lots and lots. Anyway, so I go and I'm dressed in my practically suit for this conference because I'm the account manager for this account, and so I go to get my badge, and they're like, yes sir, okay, okay, ID, sure, you're Bryce Larsen, sure, you're Bryce Larsen. So I give him my ID, and this guy takes my ID and he's like, and this is at the San Jose Convention Center, surrounded by tens of, probably just thousands, but thousands of businessmen in like the tech community. And he looks at my driver's license and he's like, Bryce Larsen from the Comics Conspiracy? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? Anyway, so I was like, yeah, that's kind of awesome.
And when you did that, then he recognized you, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he had some shit to say about you, but I won't say it right here.
I don't care.
So anyway, Alexis Martin, good to meet you, dude. It was cool to be. It was a little mini nerdgasm to be recognized. I'm definitely not famous to be worthy of that. So anyway, good to see you. Anyway, okay, getting back to where I was now that I've completely lost. Oh, Thor. Thor is the number the sixth, the other one that I was going to mention. Thor has been just incredible, but that hasn't really changed in years. So. Anyway, the good books go at the end. So at the end of the last week, because I'm 1 week behind, 1.1 or 2 weeks behind, because I haven't gotten to the last book, which is the Uncanny X-Men, which is the start of the Apocalypse War, is what I haven't read yet. Oh no, that's not Uncanny. That's Extraordinary.
I just wanted to get your opinion on them pulling in.
Are you about to spoil something? Because I haven't read it yet.
No, not for Apocalypse. No, the previous arc. Extremely obscure healing characters and then killing them all off.
Oh, can I talk about that? Yes, I will. Okay, so what I really liked was I hated when Bendis brought in Triage. Yeah. I was like, dude, we have fucking tons of healers in the X-Men. Do you not read comic books, Brian Michael Bendis? What the heck? So I'm like
all those characters are all the worst characters.
Oh, yeah. No, they're incredible in HeroClix, though. Because the only power they have is support, which is really valuable in HeroClix. So they're cheap point costs, and they have support, and they get plus to their attack, and then they get... Anyway, so I'm incredibly annoyed that he's like, triage... You couldn't have done anything with Elixir, who was created, 5 years ago, and then whoever else, before that. It was so annoying. It was like, oh, my God. So anyway... This is a cool... So do you remember the Scourge storyline from Captain America from years back? This is a great cleaning house storyline that comic book companies so rarely have the balls to do because, this is all IP that they could potentially profit on later if they're alive,
that
but not
triage
if they're
movie's
dead.
Gonna rake in $800 million.
No, don't be an asshole. Not the triage movie, but
Dude, I'm more excited for that than BVS.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. So, anyway, they have all these healers that are getting killed by the Dark Riders, who are Apocalypse's henchmen or minions or whatever, and they're trying to do the quote unquote good work of Apocalypse to get in his favor when he returns. So I love that idea that unfortunately they get rid of everybody but triage. So they kill all these healers, but my mortal enemy that is triage. Anyway, so I loved that, but what I absolutely hated was they all of a sudden, I don't know if you noticed, made one or more of the Dark Riders Inhumans.
Yeah.
And not mutants.
Yeah.
And I'm so dude, are you kidding me? This is just my same argument, how all new X-Men can't go a single issue without reminding us that both Icemen are gay. It's yeah, we get it. You tell us every issue. I understand. But so the Dark Riders, okay. You're not all mutants. In the 90s, when you were created and you were in every other issue of every other X title, you were all mutants. Apparently now you're not, so that's annoying. So anyway, I love the storyline. The storyline is great. I like the fact that they're hunting down healers. They want to help kill off the mutant race and at least have the strong survive. That's Apocalypse's motto. They want to make sure that they carry out his good work or his goodwill or whatever. So I love the Dark Riders. Coming back to the Dark Riders is such a great idea. Where did that come from? And they're not doing it poorly. They have a great story. They're actually killing people, which also people don't usually have the waivos to do when they're writing comic books nowadays. So that has been great. I don't like the whole some of them are human, some of them are inhuman. They're not all mutants. It's motherfucker, they are all Inhumans.
That's
but
so they can be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Anyway, so it's been a great storyline. I am still a sucker. I love Greg Land's art. I know that he's just such a trolly artist, but I love it. Anyway, so that is the best of the X-Men books in my opinion. Old Man Logan though is so good, but is it an X-Men book? It's
close enough.
There's a gray line. What am I forgetting? Oh, Extraordinary X-Men has been so good too. Damn it.
Well, thank you, Bryce.
That was a briefly.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm done.
Thank you.
You're never done.
Well, I'm done for the next 30 seconds.
I think
Were
that's
you
it.
actually waiting for the O?
No, I think that's it. I think we're done. Speaking of being done, I think we're done. Nice
Patreon stuff
nice,
and-
nice normal episode this week.
No questions?
No. We're building up.
We got to get at least a question in there.
Well, I didn't ask for any. We're building up some questions because we're going to do a Q&A episode here in a couple weeks.
So we should do random picks. Starman and Nightmask number 4.
Well, yeah, no, we have to do random picks because we didn't get to kind of do them on all our big episodes last month. So yes, let's do some random picks. Craig, I mean, you're the guest. You want to lead us off? Not
so much pressure now.
Not even anything recent. Any comic that you want to recommend that you've read. Could be recent. Could be something you read 30 years ago. It doesn't matter.
You can pick the Marvel Holiday Special from 1995.
Oh, I can do that because I actually I can do that because of the magic of Comixology and the fact that I can't find any comic books in my 55 boxes that I want to read. I just read the whole Paul Levitt's Legion of Superheroes run.
Nice.
Which was phenomenal. I so want Rebirth to come out with a good Legion book because that seems to be so hard to do.
I hope so.
It was so good. So I am just... I can't recommend that highly enough. That was a fantastic read.
I'm working. I've mentioned this a handful of times, but I am done. I have every single comic now. I have all the Legion archives, which go up to Superboy 270 or something like that. I have every issue past that. The the Karate Kid run, the entire Baxter series, the Levitt stuff, the 90s stuff, Legionnaires, Legion Lost,
Show off.
Every single Legion miniseries, every single comic. I am now attempting
humble brag.
I am this was the thing. I'm starting my binding. They had 13 archives. I'm starting my binding and issue at volume 14 and going forward, and every Legion comic ever, and crossover and everything. Yeah, I've read bits and pieces of the old stuff. Not enough. I need to because I've been kind of piecing them together. But from the Baxter series on, I've read most, if not all. I mean, there may be a handful of runs I didn't read, but I read the vast majority of that stuff. So,
that's fantastic.
I do love me some Legion.
I may have lots of those books. I just don't know. I have no inventory system.
I have 2 out of the 3 Legion Legos. I still need them to come out with Saturn Girl.
Yeah, there's no Saturn Girl yet.
No, I'm really waiting for that.
Yep, I can't wait. Toby, you got a pick?
Shit.
Anything? and then the Lego movie doesn't count. Your Legion Lego movie doesn't count as a pick.
I will think about it for 2 seconds.
What's the last comic you read?
I don't know. That's the problem. So I will think about it for 2 seconds. Someone else go.
Everyone else is looking around here.
Shit. So you put me on the spot.
Brock's ready. Brock,
right.
hit us up with a random
Brock.
pick.
You should pick up the Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool's Day special. It was the
Didn't
art
you
by
pick
Jim
that
Lee.
last week?
No.
Did I pick that last week?
That was maybe on the wall.
Yeah, that was your pick. That was your
No, I did
like
Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
I was pimping Poe last week.
Yeah.
No, I read it, really enjoyed it. Jim Lee's art's amazing on it. It's a good kind of it'll give you a good sense of what the Suicide Squad's going to be when Lee picks it up in August. So, yeah.
And isn't old school Amanda Waller back in it too?
Yeah, chunky Amanda Waller's back in it too.
Yeah. Bryce.
My turn. So
if you did give us enough picks already.
My random pick that I've not yet talked about is actually Uncanny Inhumans, just the whole title. Despite Craig's incorrect opinion, it's actually been enjoyable. It's way better than that other Inhumans book. All new, yeah. Look, they're trying so hard, and they're for the most part not succeeding. But I don't think that it's as bad as even I would normally talk about how it's frustrating that they're shoehorning Inhumans into the Marvel Universe so badly. But I've actually enjoyed the story. I like it when Black Bolt kicks some ass. That's fun. I like this Reader character. He's cool. Who else? Flagman. He's not cool. Who else? Medusa's doing pretty good. It's better than it was a couple months back when they were really shoehorning in what's his name? Charmander or Ash or what was his name? He was like a volcano boy. He had volcano powers. Inferno.
Bulbasaur. I think that was his name.
But it's still at the top of your pile.
It was
right?
it was Inferno. But
It is
Dante.
okay. It is at the top of my pile, but
there you go.
But
See?
I have a small week to week pull list, and so it's still only the 5th worst book that I'm reading. So it's also the 5th best book. Wait, what? I did that wrong. But anyway, it's not. It still makes the top 5 of the week. Is the point?
Greg,
so,
I think we need to thank you for this Indiana.
So
IPA
Greg, Craig. Sorry.
Thank you.
Brought some delicious beverages to share, and it's the home of craft brewing from the Indianapolis area.
Yep.
Or is it
Sun
just
King.
okay? Is it Indianapolis area or is
Indianapolis
it just Indiana?
area. They're right in Indianapolis. Yep.
Okay, I like it. Anyway, so it was delicious. So thanks to Craig for bringing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's my random pick. I've been catching up with various books that I fell way far behind on, and Green Lantern was one I fell way far behind on. But I did recently read the Godhead arc, the Green Lantern, New Guardians, Green Lantern Corps, Sinestro crossover. And while I had some issues with Green Lantern before, and while I have some issues with the Green Lantern after that, Godhead was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I think, Charlie, you liked it too, right?
Yeah, Godhead was completely worth reading, but it's the only Green Lantern that's been the only Green Lantern book that's been completely worth reading since John's left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good crossover. They deal with new gods. I don't know if anything's ever going to be picked up from that because I don't feel like John's
the end felt a little awkward. I think because going out of that into. I can't remember what the one after it was, but I mean, I enjoyed it. It was good.
No,
well, after it was just the lead up to all the convergence
stuff,
change up. So,
but I mean, basically, the Sinestro book is still good,
Yeah.
and that arc was good.
Yeah.
That's If you're looking for a Lantern fix, that's where you should find it.
And I kind of wasn't a big fan of Relic, the villain they had prior, but they do a good job with him in that crossover.
They have started to use Relic much better after that whole initial arc with him.
Yeah, if you gave up on Green Lantern, go back and read that Godhead arc. You can pick up the entire thing in one trade, so it's worth reading.
It's also a nice little hardcover.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull a Bryce and not just choose one thing for my random pick of the week. I'm going to choose...
What Jim Zumba book are you going to recommend this week?
He does have one of them in there, actually. So while I was at Emerald City, I reread the entirety of the Rucka Punisher, and that's phenomenally good. I greatly suggest anybody who has not read the Rucka Punisher go do so.
Toby, do you ever read that? I don't remember.
Isn't that my favorite fucking Punisher run?
Yes.
You're trolling me. You smiling motherfucker.
Even I knew he was trolling on that.
Oh,
one.
okay. I wasn't sure.
I think everybody knew.
Sometimes I don't know.
I think everybody but you knew.
I read the first 2 arcs of Wayward, so there's your Jim Zub, and that was very good.
Wayward is pretty darn good. I like Wayward.
Wayward's very good.
I like it a lot. I'm like 1 of 2 subscribers in the store, and Ryan doesn't even order from the store anymore.
That's okay. It's got a very nice hardcover now.
It does?
Yes.
Did you buy it for me?
No.
I love how that's like your resolution to everything, but it's got a very nice hardcover. Is like your signature
it's a really
on your
good book.
emails.
I really enjoy it. It's one of the few books I actually read.
It's a good book.
All right.
And now one for Bryce.
Oh.
So while I was at the con and looking for bargains, I bought the nice thick trade of the Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, all that old like traveling to the future Ascani stuff.
Nice.
That's a good book to reread.
Yeah,
I like that.
I have that bound. That's some great. Was that late 90s or early 2000s? I think early 2000s.
I want to say it was late 90s.
No, it was late 90s.
The Adventures was the 90s. You're thinking of Asani's son?
Yeah.
Ascani.
Yeah.
But I mean the trade they did of bounds all those little mini series they did.
That's like Rise of Apocalypse in there.
Yeah.
Is that in there?
Oh, it does?
No, it doesn't have Rise of Apocalypse. The Rise of Apocalypse they have like whole other.
Okay.
Well, doesn't he get like
collections
lost during the story arc that you're talking about, and that's why they have the search for Cyclops in a separate story? Or am I?
Well, no, this is all the fast forward stuff where like Cyclops and Jean go to the future and raise
Cable,
the younger Cable.
raise.
Yeah, but I thought. Okay, I'm misremembering that. I thought that at the end of this he gets lost, and that's why they had. This.
No, that's the Apocalypse the 12. At the end of the Apocalypse the 12, they transfer the Apocalypse essence into Cyclops, and then Cyclops goes on walkabout trying to contain it.
Okay, you know what's good about having terrible memory is that I can reread all these stories.
Wait. Is this when Cyclops had the weird red eye thing?
Yes.
On?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
Yeah, that was the
unibrow.
search that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's very cool. So it's collected in an omnibus or just a big hardcover?
Just a big trade.
Is it like the end of the first issue? You don't know who's raising Cable, and he takes off like the bandana or something, and it's Cyclops underneath. Like you don't know.
No, at the very beginning of the trade, they established that Cyclops and Jean got mind transferred into 2 human bodies in the future.
That's right.
Come on, Brian. How could you get that wrong?
I love how we are talking about mind transferring like it's just some normal thing.
It is. I've had conversations with people about like blah 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 parallel dimensions, time travel, and they're like, what's a parallel dimension? I'm like, a parallel dimension, like it vibrates slightly different things are different, and they can't grasp this concept.
Brain explode.
Like the dimension where like Batman vs Superman was a good movie.
Hey. So, yeah. There's a lot of comic book stuff that we talk about, and it sounds totally fine. And you walk outside the store, and you sound like a fucking lunatic.
And that's why you just never leave.
Just never leave. Toby, do you got a book? You've read something. Did you read the instructions of your Lego Batman or something? You want to recommend that?
That's not comics.
What a fucking troll comment.
Well, I think the last thing I actually seriously read was Giant Days, which is the last thing I recommended on here.
Any comic you've ever read,
well,
you can
know
recommend.
what? I'm going to shh. It's my time.
It's
my time.
Oh, jeez.
It's my time. Shh.
Jeez.
Shh.
It's like a kid.
All right, since I'm about to start paying Ryan off, or starting to, on the first appearance of Moon Knight, and there's 2 really nice epic collections, I'm going to go with Moon Knight. However, I do not know where the part is that I really like, because the early stuff I actually don't know very well. It's the later stuff where he fights Bushman with the really, really cool art that I don't know who's by. But I'm going to go with Moon Knight.
That was probably the 80s. That was probably the 80s run.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
That's it. That's good. That's probably that has to be in like the second.
It's the second run of Moon Knight.
Just Google Bushman
Compendium. Yeah, it has
Well,
to be.
he comes in a couple of it. That very first arc was amazing. But since I'm going to start to pay off and lots of increments to Ryan Higgins here, I'm going to go with Moon Knight. Plus, I'm really hoping it becomes a Netflix show. But if all these stupid April Fools that make me click on it and then I realize it's not real, making me angry.
No, I think it is real.
What?
No. That they are going to start filming Defenders this year.
Oh, yeah, that's real, but there's no Moon Knight in that. There was a really cool Spider-Man arc where there was Moon Knight and Punisher and Daredevil. I really liked it. It was in the 90s during the horrible run.
All right.
Are you checking if there's alcohol in my mocha?
Yeah, I am.
Remember what Ryan said? If you drink, I kill you.
See? Look what happened.
No, he said if I have more than one.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't.
Yeah, but
that's Indiana beer. That's going to affect a California boy like you different.
That's true.
It's good stuff.
It is good.
So can I ask my Twitter question that I would ask if I wasn't here?
sure.
See that? Fine. We get a Twitter question.
I'll do that.
What's your
I can't
Twitter
be-
handle? Because we need to hear your Twitter handle.
Oh,
first.
Indie_Gator.
Okay.
And now I've associated it with my real life name. That's not good. Anyway, Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
How
amazing.
excited am I that there's a Cloak and Dagger?
Oh, yeah!
And how disappointed am I that it's not on Netflix?
Okay, you're disappointed because
I think that fits that series, though. No, you don't think it fits it?
I don't think it fits it as well as Netflix would do.
the problem with Freeform, now, and that's the former ABC Family, which is
They made nothing but horrible shows. I was so excited for Samurai Girl. Worst thing I ever fucking watched. Why did watch it to begin with? I don't know. Don't
That's-
ask me. I have sometimes had horrible taste.
That's
the worst shit I've ever
that's
watched.
the problem. Freeform is
Well, I've never even. What is going on? What is
Okay.
Freeform? I don't even know.
It's formerly ABC Family.
Yeah.
And they're really trying,
Is ABC
really. It's not ABC, but ABC Family, and they're trying for some reason.
So it's a
really,
different channel,
Yeah,
ABC
yeah.
Family?
Yeah. And for some reason, they try really, really hard to be like the next CW thing.
Yeah.
And they fail miserably at it every single
their
time.
shows are not even for millennials. They're for the Becomers, which are kids
Like some
younger
DC crappy.
than millennial. No, you're thinking millennium.
They're like humans.
Yeah. The Becomers
Please God, no.
are people that were born like in the last like 10 years, right? So they're aiming at like this tween market, which
That's not tweens yet.
pre-tween.
pre-tween to tween, and by the time it'll be out, tween
They
to
should just go watch Girl Meets World and be done with it.
yeah. So they're aiming. This is going to be I don't want to say a kid show, but it's going to be a kid show.
About two characters who were created by a drug overdose.
I'm sure that will be.
It'll be somehow
Actually,
a dare.
now that you
it'll
reminded me
somehow
of
be a
that,
dare
yeah.
PSA.
Yeah.
Somehow
It's not very
they'll make
Disney.
it a dare PSA.
Yeah. So it's such an awesome thing, and I so wanted it on Netflix, and now I'm just kind of excited.
Well, there could be again. Cloak and Dagger, Moon Knight. These are characters that would work well for a second series of sort of Marvel Knights.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're going to go very young with Cloak and Dagger, which again, I think it fits the format.
Well, we'll see.
Those are two characters where I think they can do this CW-ish, if you will, Toby, kind of teeny bopper romance.
I'm just
thing.
don't have a lot of
totally
faith into
disagree
ABC
with that.
Family.
Like,
Why?
They are dark characters.
Yeah, but
dude.
they can do dark on a show like that.
Netflix, not this ABC Family thing that you're talking about.
Fine. Never mind. I agree with you guys now.
No, I mean, I hate to say it.
Going to be,
I want
some
Runaways on
ironic
ABC Family,
teenager
though.
with his,
I want Runaways on ABC Family, though. I think that would
that
fit
would be
well.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, Runaways. Well, even Runaways is pretty dark. Power
but
Pack.
Power Pack, yeah. Power
that's
Pack
a-
should be on
those
this
are type of
free
shows-
form.
That I think would
Is that
work
like
much
Oxford?
better.
yeah, but you have the Disney Channel for that. You could do Power Pack on the actual Disney Channel.
Disney Channel is real young. Freeform is like a step up from Disney Channel.
The Becomers?
There's
I
something.
don't-
Is that what they're called? Like the Becomings or something like that. They're calling something really weird.
Rings.
They're your guys' kids. Don't you
Wait,
know?
is that Dragon Slayer thingy
Kid is
show
a
on
nightmare.
that
I don't
Freeform
know.
also?
I don't know what he's
You
called.
too?
The Shadow Hunters or whatever it's
He's
called.
adorably the worst.
I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah.
Shadowhunters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's on that channel.
That sounds way too cool.
Yeah.
It's a teeny popper book
Becomers.
series that they adapted into a TV
Why
show.
are they called that?
Well, according to the Becomers, Those in the lifespan stage.
You mean the
life
Wikipedia
stage
or
spanning
Google?
ages 14 to 34. So, Bryce, are you a becomer?
I am technically a becomer.
Oh, there you go. I just think no one has any idea what any of these things actually mean.
I tell you right
anyway,
now that when Civil War, the movie comes out, I'll be coming.
at least you're going to be going.
To the theater is obviously what I meant. I don't know if that was lost in translation.
All right, well, this episode is lost to the wind, so let's just end it right now. Thank you, everyone, for being on and listening. Craig, thank you very much for being on. Hopefully this giant disaster of every episode, I don't know how it comes off when you're listening.
He'll
but
have a new appreciation for it because
I do.
He can imagine what's going on. He's going to have a different walk with his dog now.
Now I can see the vague sense of resignation on everyone's face. Bryce is going on and on.
Charlie's just reading his book, and I'm just like checking my phone.
No. Charlie reads his book through the whole podcast. When I start talking, he just goes to the bathroom. I'm not even going to sit at the table and read comic books while you all record. I'm just going to go to the bathroom.
No, it was great. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We have to thank all our good friends through Patreon. Let's do this. Our good friend Albert Soy. His app plant everywhere on
Albert
iTunes.
Soy.
Albert, you got some hot toys waiting here for you. You better come picking up. Some.
I think you gave
multiple.
I think you gave him a heart attack when you called him the day and said there's multiple here.
Yeah. Jody Lawson, he has a comic called Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudio.com. John Nesmith, drinkingwithbatman.libsyn.com. Go listen to that. It's a podcast. Peter Blanco, Nerd It Up on YouTube. YouTube.com/NerdItUpTV. Our good friend Julian Titus got the Nerds Without Pants podcast
No pants.
at pixelbit.com. Joshua Redding, Tangent Break. That's his podcast. Make sure you check that out on iTunes. Twilight of Ages and Dawn of Darkness. It's on Amazon. Those are his books. Make sure you read those. Pick them up on Amazon. Tell him we sent you. Mario Miranda, he's got that Mild Fuzz podcast network. Mildfuzz.org. And on YouTube is Mild Fuzz. Mild. But fuzz.
And hot.
Mostly just mild.
No hot fuzz.
That was good, though.
We have a bunch of other people that donated to us here. Manoa Place, Sam Che, Robert Danum, and Scott Dryman. Thank you guys very, very much. All of you guys, thank you very much for all your
No Red Hat Man?
your monies. No, he was in the big list a couple weeks ago.
Okay. So we don't include him in the little list.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. So the little list. Everyone loves the little list. And we have more stuff to talk about here. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com.
Oh.
That's the website where you can
buy books.
see all this. No, where you can see all the previous episodes that we've recorded, as well as
You can see a list.
Geekbox, as well as Geekbox.net and iTunes. You can go to ComicConspiracyPodcast.com because that's just a section of our website, which does technically have a link to the digital comic store. So Toby's
Yay.
somewhat
Not
correct.
completely
Which is where I
off.
bought all those Legion books.
Nice.
Oh,
fantastic.
Nice.
Rate and review us. The Comic Conspiracy, Geekbox.net. Send us some email or the contact form at Geekbox.net. Always. Patreon.com/Comic-Conspiracy. Yep, that's where you go donate money.
And you take pre-orders of Rebirth now?
Yes. So, yeah. If you go to Comics Conspiracy.
Way to sell it, Ryan.
Well,
I was trying to lead you into it, dude. I was trying to set you up here. Oh yeah, we do that.
well, I don't actually have a link in my little notes
sorry
here. I
to
don't
throw you
have
off.
my specific link here to.
Will you be able to get them,
Basically.
the checklist for this current stuff up?
But if you go on our main website, comicsconspiracy.biz or comicconspiracypodcast.com, that will also link out to the main website. We have a bunch of stuff for pre-order right now, including the first month of Civil War 2, the first month of Rebirth. There's checklists for all that stuff on there as well. You can.
Yeah,
add
I'm
on.
worried, not necessarily of all the new Rebirth books, but there's like a nice trilogy box set of the Batman, Scott Snyder, Capullo.
Yeah.
That looks nice. I want
Yep,
that. I want Batgirl number 2.
We're
I want
just talking about having
Supergirl.
to pay him off a bunch of money.
It never ends. It never ends.
No, it's a vicious cycle.
Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's a great digital website where you can go buy all your digital comics, like Legion. ConspiratorBrock.com. That's Brock's blog. Infinite Longbox podcast and Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension. Those are Charlie's podcasts. Go check those out. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That's my lovely wife, Leanne. That's all her art. You can go on there and buy some. Ryan Higgins, Ryan. I'm on Twitter. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce is Larsen Bryce. Toby XI. Well, occasionally. I don't know. You on there now?
I think so.
Are you unbanned again? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Insanity in Chaos. That's Charlie. Comics Con Store. That's the comic store. Do you want?
Yep. Indie_Gator.
You're
Yay.
on there. Talk to Craig. Geekbox Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, All Talk Podcast, Manga Machinations. Those are all our lovely little podcasts in our network. Do you want to pimp anything? Yeah. Do you have anything to?
I don't.
Beer.
I
That's
pimp
fine.
Sun King Brewing. I pimp Downtown Comics where I buy my books.
All right.
I think I'm done.
Tell them Craig sent you if you guys ever over there. Buy some comics. And then buy some comics from us, too. Thank you very much for being on.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it wasn't as much of a disaster as it was. It was just a
He
disaster.
survived our 2 hour and 40-minute BVS podcast. I think
Nice.
he's okay.
We didn't even survive that.
It only took 4 days. I listened to all of them.
My dog was so happy for that big long walk. All right, we'll see everyone next week.